Alright guys, so before we get into today's video, I just want to say have a happy and safe 4th of July. Make sure you get home safe and enjoy the day. It's kind of crazy out there right now, but just go out and have fun and enjoy. What's up and good morning everyone, welcome back to the Duramax Diesel channel. As you can see, we have the dually back in the shop. So, as you left off before, we have the rear bars done, pretty much all mocked up. We gotta fix a few things. But we have a ratchet strap to hold the truck centered. So that's what we're working on today. We're gonna be working on getting our drag link, track bar, whatever you officially wanna call it, fifth link, whatever it may be, onto the truck. So first things first, we got it cleaned up over here. And basically, so this is going to be here, and that's gonna run over to that side, which is going to have two bars, one that goes from that side over to here, and then the bar that goes to the axle. Now the reason for doing this is that, being that we're gonna put probably a little bit of weight in the back of this thing, we don't know 100% sure yet. Probably gonna use it for towing if everything works out. We want it to not tweak the frame where the track bar is. So if you have pressure pushing down and the bar is running this way, it's gonna tend to want to do this. So we're tying both frame rails together so that way it stays straight up and down. So that way, just stronger, sturdier, everything just for the situation we're in. We do have most of the motor parts. We're waiting on the crankshaft. But basically what I want to happen is I want this to be a full rolling chassis, so have the front done, all the piping and everything, and you know, all the frame and suspension and pretty much everything ready to go on it. So that way, when the time comes, we can drop the motor in and hopefully get it fired right away. I don't want to be sitting around on a built motor just with it sitting on the stand. So basically, timeline for the truck is get the suspension done, get the interior, at least the under the dash, which is all taken apart, so the gas pedal, all that good stuff under here pretty much done, put back in. And once we have all that taken care of, we'll work on building the motor, the transmission, and who knows what else to come. So basically, in order to get drive shafts in this thing, we need the motor, transmission, transfer case all set in the truck. So then we can bring it to the drive shaft place, get drive shafts made. So we have a little bit of work cut out for us. But basically timeline is suspension, get the truck to a runnable place, kind of like the LBZ that you guys always see on the channel. Make sure it can start and kind of do its own thing. We don't really care about the seats too much, but I want to be able to start it at least. So suspension, interior, motor trans, drive shafts, and then finish work. So, and somewhere in there, probably before the motor and the trans, is paint and body work. That way we can get all this stuff cleaned up, taken care of, pretty much take care of all this mumbo jumbo. I am going to be replacing that wiring harness. It looks kind of crummy, so it's been sitting outside for a while. So I want to use a fresh, not necessarily a fresh new harness, but a newer harness that has not been soaked by the sun, just that way we don't get any broken wires or anything. Really don't want this truck to have any issues once it goes back together. And at that, when we get the new wiring harnesses in, which are old ones that I have laying around back home, once we get those new wiring harnesses in, we're basically gonna go over and remake the whole harness on the truck. So it's gonna be like getting rid of like the huge wire bundles, kind of clean all the wires up, rewrap them, get everything really cleaned up and ready for this truck. That way a lot of the wires are hidden and there's nothing really like, you know, bulky and big, and you just want it to be clean. So we're gonna do a really clean, we'll have to extend the harness, kind of remake it, do whatever we gotta do. But hopefully it goes pretty easy, so we'll get into that at a later date. So anyways, like I said, I'm gonna start welding some stuff up now, get some bars made, cut some things. And also, because The coilovers are on such a back order right now. We're gonna cut some round tube and drill some holes in it and put them in place of these at ride height, just so that way we can get the front coilovers off the rear, so that way the rear's sitting where we want it, so we can make the bar properly and make sure everything's measured up in the way it needs to be. So just a lot of work to do. So pretty much just gonna get after it today. It's probably gonna be a long shop day. It's Saturday, so we're just gonna put in some work and see what we can get done. But these other bars are looking good in the axle, so the truck holds its own weight pretty well. So yeah, got all the dogs here today hanging out, so I'm gonna figure out what I want to do with them to weld this on, but probably close the door like halfway or whatever. But yeah, just don't want any prosperity in our welds. So we left off with this thing being under its own weight. Since then we have taken out the coilovers and made our own little ride height things and got the track bar, drag link, whatever you want to call it, in place. So the truck is officially no more ratchet straps, sitting on its own weight. Sorry, it is crazy windy right now. So as you can see, pretty solid, good to go. I need to tighten some things up. Obviously it's just chilling, but we got the bar all done and everything on. We're gonna reinforce all this stuff too before the truck is ready. But now it's pretty much time to get working on the front end. So obviously we ground everything off and then stopped working on it for a bit, so I got a little rusty, some moisture. So we are going to start by cleaning this thing all up, getting those cleaned and ready to go on, and yeah, just kind of throwing everything together, mocking it up, getting our pinion angle, or our axle angle, I guess I should say, and then start burning them in. So we've gotten this thing pretty much cleaned up, this thing all ground down, ready to go on. I think it's time to start burning it in. Getting this front taken care of, and once the front axle's done, then we can start chopping all this stuff off, and it should only be a couple days till this thing's rolling on its own weight, because I do have the coilovers for the front and the shock towers that we are gonna make. So just a lot of welding left. So now that the axle truss is fully welded on, ready to go pretty much, just needs to be boxed. We got the IFS removed from the truck, which is pretty easy. We just unbolted everything, didn't really care. Now we're gonna begin to start chopping. So we're gonna cut off these brackets, this bracket up here. I believe it's for the four-wheel drive mount. We're also gonna cut out this bracket and these brackets over there, and the same on the other side, leaving the motor mounts in on the truck. So got a lot of cutting work out for us today. We're gonna move some stuff out of the way, probably start on the other side, move the axle back, don't want to mess up my wheels. And yeah, I wish we had a plasma, but oxyacetylene will work. We're gonna chop all this stuff off, hopefully not start a forest fire, and get all this stuff out of here. So yeah, we'll just roll this bad boy out of the way. So as you can see, we got our coilover mounts. We have our drag link, track bar mount, whatever you want to call it. We need to weld on the mounts for this, and then some other things later on down the road. We got to figure out sway bars and all that stuff. But we're going to start cutting because no time like the present. So just get into it, start chopping, and hope for the best. So we're back at the shop. It is now Sunday, and yeah, we got some stuff done. We got a lot of stuff cut out. Right now, basically what we're doing is I'm gonna get these cleaned up down here, and we're gonna weld in our first cross member. That way we can cut the other one out, cut this bracket out, and then keep pushing away. I don't wanna do the frame plates until everything's cut out of here. And I don't wanna cut this off until we get this cross member welded back in. That way the frame doesn't twist or anything. I know it's got a cross member up here, but still is a lot of weight, you know, just sitting on it and everything. So trying to keep it somewhat sturdy so that way we don't get a frame shift or anything. But basically what I'm gonna do now is take the grinder, clean up these areas right here, and this too. This was the pitman arm bracket I cut off. We don't need that, I'm gonna just clean it up. But we're gonna clean up all this edges right here. That way we can put our cross member in and get it set across. And yeah, hopefully have no issues with that and get it all burned in. Things are going good. Hopefully it picks up and goes faster. Like I said, I know these videos have been kind of spaced out and all that stuff, but it's kind of, we're in like a weird spot where there's not really a lot going on, but it's gonna come together quick. So in the next few weeks, we're definitely gonna have some killer videos for you. And then we get started on the motor and the transmission. So they are coming soon. We need to get the cab off. I think we're gonna pull it off and get working on it and do the body work and stuff too. So a lot to come. We're just gonna keep hammering away at this for now, get the truck under its own weight. All right guys, so after about 8 hours of grinding and cutting and stuff, we do have these cross members burned in. Not finished yet, but just kind of welded in there. Got everything cut out, cleaned up, all that good stuff. As you can see, we kind of marked our frame plate here, just so we know where to clean. I'm gonna get some weldable or weld through primer, whatever you wanna call it. We've got this frame plate clamped on. So this is what it's gonna look like. I gotta take this off, I just marked it. So that way we can clean it. But pretty much, that's gonna do it for today. Coming up next video, so all next week pretty much, we're gonna weld in the cross members, the frame plates, build the shock towers, and then hopefully get this axle up underneath the truck. So that's gonna do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a thumbs up. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. And again, I apologize for the delay in content. It's been kind of crazy lately with school and everything. And this is just kind of boring grinding and nothing really. So pretty much from here on out, things are gonna start speeding up and we will get more content to you. I'm out. See you guys later.